Hello? Test, sound test. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the stream. Okay, it sounds like it's playing. It's been a fun week. It's been a fun time. My back scratcher. Hello, and welcome to another episode of trying to get through my painting backlog. I was going through the display case that I keep my... I'm sorry, I'm Altamir Lash. Welcome into the stream. Oh goodness, I need to not have a second monitor at the very corner of my vision. Excuse me. I was eating a sandwich right before stream, so... Ooh. It's a good sandwich, but good heavens. I should not have done that. Anyway, so I was looking through the display cabinet in which I keep my older pieces, and I found these guys. These three fine gentlemen of possibly Mind Flayer looking stuff. It's hard to see their tentacles. Let's see if I can autofocus a little bit closer. So we got these guys who have got tentacle faces. They're Mind Flayer shaped. They got the technology. They got the hoods. They got the basic anatomy. And they got these Doc Ock tentacles on them, which I find are pretty dang cool. And so I printed them at one time and didn't do anything with them except for prime them. And so here we are. And we're going to be painting them today. I've decided to go with this one because, shockingly, as you can see, it is barely holding on there. The other ones happen to not have been primed very well because I'm bad at this. So we got... this one's okay, but they don't have a whole lot of primer on the bottom side. I didn't flip them over properly when priming them. I've got I've been working on a problem with the computer. Recently, the fan started dying, and it's been dying for a little bit, but I realized that I kind of cheaped out when building the PC with that particular component. I got store brand or whatever, and it didn't end up lasting very long. So I had to replace that, and I did, which isn't the biggest issue. But then when I replaced it, first off, I couldn't find the RGB plugin, so the case is completely dark, which, you know, fine, whatever. People have their opinions about RGB. I don't mind it. I also don't seek it out. Funnily enough, the RGB case, they had two available in the correct size. There was one with lights, one without lights. The one without lights was more expensive than the one with lights. So if you don't want lights, just get the one with the lights on it and just don't use the lights. Easy. The other thing that happened was that it didn't integrate itself correctly with the fan controls, and so it had, every time I boot up, it would go to maximum RPM, 100%, like 3200 RPM. It would just stay there, and I would have to manually adjust it, and I'm thinking, that's a poor use of resources. So I had to go into BIOS and change some stuff around so that it would actually do what it's supposed to do and adjust up and down based on the temperature of the device. And now it looks like it's not... Okay, so the thermal paste that I used, I think might have not been so great because the temperature fluctuates a lot and it's still pretty much hanging around a high RPM. It's jumping up between 53 degrees and 70 when it decides to, which is within acceptable parameters, but the fluctuation is not great. I think there's a hotspot going on, and so I should deal with that sooner than later. So I bought some new thermal paste. So after stream today, I will, today or tomorrow, before I do anything else, I'm going to go in and redo the seating, which is an easy enough conversion. Like, I've already done brain surgery and replaced the entire thing, so just popping it back off, scraping off the paste, and then applying new paste is not that big of a deal. I'm looking for my goddamn... There you... The wet towel. Come here. Come here. I had to clean this section off so that I could get the PC out of here. Okay, it's still a little damp, but it could use more. At least it's not bone dry. So that's what I've been up to lately. How about you? How's chat been? So this is a little, tiny bit of a surface primer. And we're just gonna real quickly touch up the two gentlemen that don't have very good coverage underneath. Because the primer needs a little bit of time to set, so we're not getting to these two today. But we can definitely spend the entire time painting one of them, and then these ones, it'll be completely set if I decide to go back and finish the set. Which, you know, I've been wanting to do before. It is a lot faster to do an entire model on the airbrush, which is where I normally do my priming these days. I don't do priming out of the can for numerous reasons, not the least of which is that there are sometimes maybe a year between times when I get interested in painting models again. And so the can will have gone bad, gone a little bit chunky, or lost something in the internum. And it'll just not be good anymore. And they're like, they're more than 20 bucks a pop, so it's not worth it to do that. So I would rather just have a bottle that doesn't really go bad, that you just have to shake, and then the propellant gets introduced later. Am I painting on camera? I think so. I've tried to make the paint area roughly the size of the blue square this time. So last time the blue square was the exact size of the camera. I folded it so that you could not see the table at all. But this time I'm trying to do it this way so that wherever the blue is, as long as I'm within the blue, you should still be able to see it. Probably didn't give myself enough primer. That's okay. We've got plenty. The dropper is honestly barely used. But other than performing brain surgery on my PC, this week's been pretty hectic. Not like running around different places and stuff. Well, kind of. So I've been cat sitting for my parents. I've been streaming, which I haven't told anybody really about. So people just assume that I got nothing going on during the day. And I got work also during a large portion of my day. And they've been giving me, instead of part-time hours, which, you know, I was hired for, they've been giving me full-time hours, which is good for money. I don't have the benefits of being a full-time worker. None of the dental or whatever other perks they would happen to get. So my hours could go down at any time, which would be useful for this. And I'm kind of hoping that they do. I recently found out that my seniority does not extend over somebody else, so if they need to give hours, they have to go in seniority order. And so they can't cut his hours for me, even though he's not as good. Apparently my talents are very expensive because they essentially have to pay 2 people to get 1.5 people in the store to do that many hours. Not incredibly viable. I'm getting the feeling that my cats might be trying to tell me something. Might have urinated in this room because occasionally I'll get this faint weft of cat urine. And it's hard for me to tell because after I got COVID for the second time, I kind of lost a little bit of my sense of smell. It's definitely not as pronounced as it used to be. Okay, so for this guy, could do the little base a little bit better. So I'm not doing this guy for one major reason, and that's because on the way that he's attached, like first off, I'm not painting these two because the primer really needs to set for a while before you should reasonably be painting on them. But this one also has really poor connection points to the base. Because he's definitely glued in here, but over on this side, I don't know if you can see, but he's just hovering there. The glue didn't take, or didn't use much or enough. And so he, well, being probably the one that I would want to do most, is not that great. This one needed the most help on the bottom end. And so we're left with this fucking thing. Make sure the autofocus is set correctly. Alright. So, let's see. We've got a couple purples. We've got a purple like this. This is a purple secret weapon wash, which in theory, if we wanted to, we could paint some things white and then use this to make it colorful. We've also got some blue. That's an airbrush color, though. Oop. I thought we had a purple in a pot. Might not be a thing. We definitely need some blues. Is this the same color blue? It is. One of these needs to be shaken up a lot better. Red. So the red versus blue thing is real. We've got another blue. We've got possibly a green if we need it. The option of a flesh color. Actually, flesh colored tentacles might be the way to go. And then we can shade it with the flesh wash. One of these is a flesh wash. It's an armor wash. Got one. Alright. Flesh wash. These seem good. I kind of want to see what the purple with purple ink looks like, but that might be too dark. We could test it on the base. We could also test it on like a foot. Somewhere where we wouldn't miss the detail if we need to go and fix it afterwards. Because it's already going to be very dark, since we are starting with a black. So on this little tootsie down here. Yeah, see, that's... I'm willing to bet that you on the camera can't even see it all that well. Okay, so that's very dark, so I'm not a fan of that. What's the opposite of purple? Kind of a yellow. So if we start with a cream color, and then paint the purple over that. I've got an idea here. What if we take this on this foot? Oops. Gotta be careful with where the brush is going, but not too careful because... whatever. We're just playing around. For the tentacles, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing with them, so let's just paint them a flesh color. Chunky. Oh my god. Do we have a better flesh? Oh, that looks nasty. What do I have 3 of the same blue color? Maybe I only have 2. Regardless. I don't think we have anything to mix with that acrylic medium. We could try, but I'm not willing to sacrifice the entire paint jar on the assumption. Ooh, that is a thick paste. Okay, we're definitely gonna have to use the wet pad for this one. No lazy pot painting today. Just scoop a bit of this onto the wet palette. Water it down by a significant margin because it is chunky. Watering it down a little bit more will allow it to sink more into the recesses of the high detail of the tentacles. And then when we raise it back up, or rather lower it with the wash, we should get darker tips and even darker valleys. I've decided that I'm probably not going to trust anybody on Twitter that I don't know specifically unless they visit the stream. Because people can talk all that they want, but if they're not willing to actually help in any metric that matters... Like, I don't know specifically the hierarchy of what the best thing to do for a creator is. I just know liking and subscribing is probably good. But just watching and commenting and engaging with the stream in any way is going to help. And nobody do that. They just stick to Twitter. Okay, so let's try some of this wash. What does the wash look like over the bone color? Because it's not going to do literally anything over the purple. It's a very... Okay, so it is definitely a pallid flesh with a purple tone. Maybe not quite as purple as I was hoping for. It could be the fact that the foot is just one solid piece. I'm also wondering how... Are you a matte or... Doesn't say. So I don't know if this is going to dry to be matte or if it's going to be glossy. Alright, I should let this dry some more and I'm not. Because I want to see what do you look like. Okay, I like that. For an eldritch monstrosity based off of, you know, kind of body horror. Technology. My brain is chundering. Definitely didn't let that sit long enough, but once that's dry, I don't know. It looks good, maybe not dark enough, so we'll try going back over that again once more with some watered down armor wash and see if we can give it kind of a fake shading effect. This was fine. Yeah, let's just hit the rest of the tentacles. I'm already trying to think of the most sus way to write this on Twitter. I never did a starting tweet again. Shh. I usually at least announce the Handcam streams. Not that they get a ton of engagement and nobody ever shows up, but I usually do it just as a progress update. Like, yeah, we're gonna be painting a thing. This was the thing. Ah, well. We'll just post it after the fact. I'm not going to take time out of my busy painting just to say that I'm doing it. I need attention, but not that bad. Not when it's not actually going to get me anything. That just feels desperate. So specifically, with the Twitter rant about earlier, the thing I was talking about was somebody who was like, why don't you just, like, invest in your channel or improve it or whatever? And I'm just like, well, I mean, that doesn't sound easy. They're like, oh, it is easy. It's like, if it was easy, everybody would do it. But you got to think of the three matrices. It's going to cost effort, or money, or a lot of time. I'm a little short on time right now. I don't want to spend a lot of money because I'm still deciding this is worth it, especially with the increased work hours. It's rough. And as far as effort, that is the same thing as time. I don't have a lot of that. When I'm essentially, my entire day is planned out for at least this month. There's not a lot of time where I have to devote to improving things or scripting things or whatever. I'm already losing sleep because I can't fall asleep or stay asleep. At least I'm not feeling anxious like I usually do. That's because I'm medicated. Oh, shoot. What time is it? I see. Give me 1 sec. There's no time in the day or the night. And then I have D&D on Friday, so that's not even a full day off to do anything. And I like to take at least 1 day per week that I can essentially veg out and catch up on stuff that I missed for the rest of the week. Like watch anime, catch up on YouTube drama, any movies or something that I've been wanting to watch. Just a day to consume media and relax, the mental health day. And so if I'm only getting 2 days off a week, then those are my 2 days. Dungeons and Dragons and vegging. Doesn't leave me a lot of time to catch up on stuff. I'm not on that Sigma grind set where you've got to turn hobbies into cash and never be just sitting there. Nah. Mental health is important, okay? I've been on the wrong side of mental health. That shit's scary. I'd only wish that on my worst enemies. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have flesh tentacles. They're coming for your kinks. Was that a triple entendre? I can just hear it spinning up and speeding down the fans. It is a little loud. It looks like the noise gate's working though, so you shouldn't be able to hear it. One of the specific reasons that I actually bothered to buy this mic was to test out its noise gate feature. It seems to be doing fine. Is the music too quiet? I could barely hear it. Gosh, we need a lot of ink for just a couple tentacles. It's like a full drop per tentacle. Stretch over the entire thing. I think that I found the area on the Wizards customer service page where you can just ask them general questions. Because, of course, changing your name isn't a option, so in the regular FAQ section, it doesn't come up. It just says, oh, you can't do that here. So I'm just hesitating because I don't think I would be able to change it back as long as the channel is active. So it's a tiny bit of a commitment. But what is life without sacrifice, you know? Perhaps the Brawl content that we need is not just playing the same budget deck every single week with minor adjustments. Maybe it actually is playing with an account that's been around for a while that money has been put into. Alright, that seems to be most of it. For the armor, I'm thinking that's not a bad color. Also got this, which is kind of a reddish brown. I think this is too red. But is this close enough to the style? We'll have to find out. We can always darken it. I need a smaller brush. All right, let's see. I think we'll just do this red color for the plates, and then we'll do the joints in the same purple skin color combo. Hey, if the stream cuts out in the middle of this and abruptly ends, it's because I might have burned out the CPU of my computer, based only off the fan. I would have done it today, but I don't like doing stuff making sweeping changes to technology right before I'm gonna need to use it. Maybe that's just me, but that's also why I haven't updated OBS in a while. Because the main time that I'm about to use OBS is, of course, when I'm about to stream, and that is not the time to be pushing an update. I'll probably do it the next time that I'm doing thumbnails. Which, you know, every single Magic Arena thumbnail is original, but I can get away with Clair Obscur having the same thumbnail. And I've also been pretty lazy, at least the waiting rooms for these hand painting streams are also the same image. I remember one time I actually changed the thumbnail afterwards to be the dragon that we painted that day, which is cute, and then I never did it again. Which is funny, because I take pictures of all of them. I just don't do anything with it. So the foot looks fine. I don't think that I mind that as the flesh color. The purple and black one. But what I'd like to see is some highlighting on the details, so I think I'm gonna paint the flesh purple, ink it, and then we can raise up the highlight. I don't have a bright purple, so we'll have to mix something. Mixing paints is always an interesting prospect because I don't measure anything when I mix my paints, so whatever color comes out is a unique color that will never be seen again. Which is why I don't like mixing colors for armies. I don't want to say it's bright because it is still a brown, and browns don't get to be bright, but we might have to tone this down a little bit. Yeah, this might sound weird, but have you ever just gotten somebody else's name stuck in your head? You just can't let it go? Not even like, oh my god, this is such an amazing name, just it's lodged in there. Like a song lyric that won't stop repeating. So it's just somebody's name. It's not even like you have a crush on them or anything. It's just their name resonates with you for a day or two. Yeah, somebody else on Twitter, their name is just lodged directly in my cerebellum. On repeat. I'm not going to say who they are because they basically dropped into my DMs, offered to draw something for me, and then when I said no thank you, they never contacted me again. You're allowed to know that because this has happened several times. To the point where I've noticed the cadence that it goes in. Like, hey, thanks for following me back. Because I'll sometimes follow people back when they follow me. I should probably only do it for VTubers instead of artists, but... And then they'll be like, oh, like, hey, how's your streaming going? Do you have a model? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a PNG tuber. Which is a VTuber, but with a PNG. And they're like, oh, can I see it? And it's like, well, it's my profile picture. That is the PNG. It twitches on stream, but there it is. And then they'll be like, oh, you should get a full life 2D. My artist. It's like, ah, oh, geez. And I'm like, well, this is just a hobby. I'm not sure that I want to do it long term, so investing the money. And they're like, oh, it's not that much money. Oh, I could talk to my artists and get them to lower their price. This is every single time. Deal with your situation. I've heard specifically your situation twice, which is why I think that these people are on a script. Like an Indian telemarketer. What about this? What are we doing with this? I saw a video recently that I think called me out because it was about a guy who was talking in his normal voice, and it's, you know, a little bit like mine, where you're just kind of projecting a little bit higher in the throat. And he's just talking normally. He's like, this is my speaking voice, this is the voice that I've always used. But, he was talking about how when he was young, his mom would always tell him to speak up, to project more, which would cause him to tighten his throat and, like, raise it up, and you can hear it more. And then his wife was like, oh, well, then what do you sound like when you're not doing that? What do you actually sound like? And then you could just hear his voice drop down to a lower register. And I think that I have that too. I'm always mumbling or not projecting. And when I actually just talk normally, like this, I'm not sure if it actually sounds good or not. I'm not getting any feedback from any of you, so it's very, it's hard to tell what's good. What do we want to do for the cloak thing? The cloak thing could be a mashup of the two. We could have this on the skin flaps. And then do the red on the spikes. I think I watered it down a little bit too much. It's fine. I just hope that the camera's picking up my voice. But I did spend about a week adjusting my sound settings so that it could hear me. Granted, that was the other one, but it's probably fine. So let's hit these center areas. Where is that? On the other side. It doesn't seem to have that gap. That's kind of funny. Because of the way his arm's positioned, he just doesn't get that cell structure on his left side. Or it's like scrunched. I'm just gonna dab that corner. Call it good. And I know that as soon as I see somebody else or I start talking to somebody, because it's what I'm trained to do, my voice is immediately going to start projecting back up. But maybe this is what I gotta do. Maybe I've got to practice while there's nobody watching. Is that all the voice therapy is? Is just doing the same thing over and over and over again? Just doing it until success. Or you're told you sound ridiculous. One of the two, I'm sure. Oh, too soon, too soon. Definitely too soon. At least in the front half, where it kind of pulled in. I should get a hairdryer. Or a heat gun. Hit this real quick, dry it off. So purple, eh? One foot's going to be slightly lighter than the other because it's based off of that cream color. We're just going to paint over it. And the other one's based off of black. It's a little bit more visible. Okay, we're going back. Pull it back. So this flesh, we're going to do human flesh color. Or I'm sorry, bone. We're going to do bone color. This pallid skin. And then we'll paint over it with purple. I think one of my Discord friends is transitioning, and I think that they're trying to not hide it from me, but get better at it. I don't know. I jumped into the voice call the other day to play some Helldivers, and they had altered their voice to be a little bit more feminine. It sounded like they were trying to affect a female voice. But, you know, you can still tell it was them. But I didn't say anything at first because, you know, they were in the middle of a match. I didn't want to distract or anything. And they left immediately before I even said anything. And then, yeah, because they used to speak, their regular speaking voice. And one time, when we were playing a game one-on-one, they suddenly started doing this voice. That's the one time that I had a dialogue with them doing that voice. And they said that they would work on it. And I was like, okay. And yeah, now they're just like... We haven't really spoken much recently. Which is weird, because we used to speak like every day about VTuber stuff. We both kind of would fanboy about our favorites to each other. But I guess I have noticed that I tend to go in cycles with these things. I'll just talk to somebody a lot for a little bit, and then we'll drift apart again. And then several months or a couple of years later, we'll just start communicating again. The cycle of getting to know me, I guess. I'm not the kind of friend that appreciates constant communication unless I'm trying or have already seen you without clothes on. Because, like, if I like somebody, then yeah, I could talk to them forever about anything. Doesn't matter. I'll bring my A game and try and flirt when I can. There are some people that I'm not trying to see naked, that I am not allowed to play gay chicken with, because both of us are so ready to commit to the bit that if we try and get each other to flinch, we'll just end up sleeping together as two cis men. Alright, very bright, very bone. It's not awful as a flesh color, but let's mix some water in here. Maybe too much water. There's a chunk. Okay. Violence. All right, buddy. How do you look? It's a bit experimental in its color scheme. Yeah, I think that's too much water. We're gonna need to... I should have mixed it with the purple wash, actually. Because it's not going on particularly smoothly. And I wasn't looking to do multiple passes on it with one color, but that may be what we end up doing. Especially since I'm not fully waiting for things to dry. That's right, we're accidentally two-brush blending. A second coat looks like it will be necessary on the head and hands. Which, lame, but well, that's what we're here for. God, it sounds like my computer's about to take off. I didn't pick this one for its silent capability, just based off of power and good vibes. And by good vibes, I mean reviews. But it is pretty consistently relatively loud. And I don't mind. I'm just going to turn on the sound canceling. Sound canceling headphones engaged, which just makes me sound to myself when I'm talking out loud a little bit more nasally. Bleh. No, it's gotta dry before we attempt another layer. I should really find out where these prints came from. Oop. That's the wash. That's not what I wanted. But as with everything, we're doing it live. That's pretty thick, boy. Dry faster, bastard. Maybe if I move the fan to point directly at the model, it'll dry faster. Ooh, I missed a crevasse. All right. Red color 2, electric boogaloo. We're coming back in for some detail. Which means a smaller brush. Oops. Oops has been called. So we still need to armor wash the majority of the model. We still have to get these things, which I think I was planning on doing with the base purple. We could do the purple on black. There's one reasonably important section right in the groin. Nobody would ever see it, so if I missed it, it's not that big of a deal. But I might know. Me knowing is 3/4 of the problem. Yeah, not bad. All right, what's next? What were we doing with that other one? I don't think it was the same color as the tentacle flesh bits, so... Is it the same color as the alien flesh bits? Technically, we can leave them black. Where's my cop out? Cop out black, yeah. So let's just repaint these down to black. And that'll darken the overall motif. Is this still visible? Kinda. Freehanding is hard. And with the primer, I'm not as comfortable licking the brush between them to smooth it out because I don't know what's in the primer. The paints, at least, I know are non-toxic. The primer, This just goes to show, you know, the stages and steps and whatever in painting, a little bit free-flowing, just kind of go with it. Unless you have a specific plan or have done a similar model before, it's really just making it up as you go. Shoot. I don't think that this camera autofocuses well. It'll refocus really well, but it doesn't autofocus that great. Get in the comments and complain about your least visible section of the painting. Oop. This is why you don't talk while painting. Fuck-ups have been done. I didn't even get any paint on my brush. I just got it near the ink. Camera. Physically, this is a lot easier when you're not on camera. Mentally, it just feels like a waste of time sometimes. Ah, yes, the Wii Shopping song is back. It's like a Wii bowling was slowly going insane. You know what's been getting more attention recently? And I think I know why, is I have no mouth and I must scream. Recently I've been seeing a lot of stuff on it. I think that it's because the Amazing Digital Circus is based loosely off of that story. And so people are rereading it and discovering that, yeah, it's a timeless classic. Horrifying. Absolutely brain-busting if you're not prepared for it, but classic. Luckily, hardly anything can shock me anymore. I am too seeped in the internet. I am too far gone. I'm not afraid of my own mental health taking damage. I'm more afraid of, like, if something that I say would be against rules. I fear punishment more than my lack of sanity. That's why I'm just a silly little guy in everybody else's chat. So you know how I've always advocated as pigs as the best way to dispose of a body, right? So I found out recently that if you have the time for it, Dungeness crabs actually do a really good job of picking through bodies. I didn't catch if they can do skeletons as well. I know pigs do, but still, it is an option. Never feel bad about eating a pig, because the pig would absolutely eat you if given the opportunity. Someday, I'm willing to bet that I'm going to have to go back and redo all the sound for these, because I'm going to get copyright struck by the stupid creators of these songs. But if not, then that's great. Hey, I will absolutely live on this hill created by this one little indie game. I keep OBS in the corner just because I like to be able to look and make sure that my audio is still working, because now I'm starting to develop starting to question at any given time whether this sound still works or not. Because sometimes it just doesn't. Like yesterday when I think somehow I might have touched something and the sound stopped working in the middle of a stream. Like, what? How do you even mess that up, dude? Okay. Freehanding accomplished. Let's go ahead and re-hit the flesh with the purple. A little bit of unevenness is fine and even encouraged for the eldritch flesh. Just not quite as uneven as we were making it. It's not a lot of contrast on the doohickeys. So I think what we could do is... Where's the gray? Not even gray. How about this blue? It's a very watery blue. How about this blue? It's the same blue, but it's a lot older. So it's less watery. So if we take this, we might be able to dry brush just a little bit of the black to reveal some of the detail. The detail that is hidden in shadow. Trick to dry brushing is you absolutely cannot go over any area that might be moist in any way, or you will mess up everything. Sticky is fine, but moist is not. That's what you gotta watch out for. Beware the moist. Here, see how you can kind of see the black a little bit better? A little bit more detail. Just a little bit of dry brushing as a treat. And now we can darken, I mean the whole thing, but specifically with this here armor wash, we could darken, goodness, let go. I want to see what happens if I darken the tentacles a little bit more. With a two-tone kind of thing. Let's see. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe some sections. I'm gonna have to go real light on this bugger. Only do it in parts that need it. We could, but we shouldn't do it the way we normally do, where we just goop it over the entire model and call it better. This, of course, just adds more work for me. On the other side of that, it creates more content. This blurry-ass content. And it looks better in real life than I think I saw on the camera. On the camera, it's a little bit more bright and washed out. Painting usually rewards you for doing a little bit of stuff. It's not about getting everything correct, it's about doing a lot of little things. This is the way that I paint. Which, you know, I've rarely been paid to paint models before. at work the other day. I was staying at the front of the store with my manager. We were just talking, and we saw some of the other people on the other side of the store just hanging out in their own little clique. And he commented on it. It's like, oh yeah, they all like to hang out together and just gossip about everybody. I asked him, I wonder what people talk about me when I'm not around. And I don't know if this is a sign or something harrowing, but he kind of looked at me and was like, don't ever, like, pay attention to what they say. You get the work done, so just don't worry about it. And I'm like, now I actually wonder what they do say about me behind my back. Like, is he just saying don't worry as a general statement of fact, or people talk shit about me and I just need to not be worried about that fact? That's not going to give me anxiety. Granted, there's only one of them that I actually don't like. It's not really here nor there. And here, it would be the question of whether they like me, and I'm not particularly sensitive to that. I'm just curious. I would prefer not to waste my time talking to and hanging out with people if they don't like me. Too dark. Why do you not accept paint? Bastard. I was going to say it must be around an hour and a half in, because I'm running out of things to say. My Steam's running low without a accompanying boost in energy from talking with somebody. I've still been thinking about that idea of hooking up a video camera out in a 3D printer and either live streaming or streaming the video that it captures of the printing process. Printing process is very boring, but there is some very long videos on YouTube that would prove that there's a market for that. Let's get just a touch of black on the inside of these little sucker thingies. kind of accentuate the rings that they have in there. There's one down here too. All right. What else do we got? What we got is another layer on this bald head. All right, so how are we going to lighten this up? Well, we're going to take a little bit of... The opposite of purple is yellow. I don't think we want to use a yellow to brighten this up. Yellows tend to be a little bit watery. What about just a dash of this tan color? Just a little bit. Not even that much. It seems real bright. Warm, actually. It seems warm. Yeah, no, I don't like that. We're gonna want something colder. I think we're gonna dry brush. We fucking did that already. Maybe just a little bit of inking in the cracks will give the contrast that I'm looking for. Yes, but also no. I think we're gonna have to use the blue. We're just gonna have to go at it with a very detail-oriented brush. Just get a little bit. Just to accentuate some of the top features, not even really to color it. What if we did exactly what we're doing, and then we hit it with the purple wash after? Okay. Now I want just a little bit of a widespread dry brushing on the side to give a little bit of a reflective bit on the side of the head. Okay. And now, clean the brush. Purple ink. You see it? Ta-da! We've lost a little bit of the brightness from the chest, so I'm gonna bring that up and bring it back down. All right, a little bit more pink than I want. Oh, that's what I forgot. We need to bring back down the armor plating. Now I need to be careful because I've done everything else, and it's fine. We just need to go back with this and darken the red without doing too much damage to the colors that we're actually done with already. This will also consequently sort of kind of bring back some of the detail that we may have lost along the way. Which is why this is skill in a can. You know what's a little bit upsetting to me about Magic right now? Specifically at this moment, I can't look at the entire spoilers for the Omen Paths to see what the different art and names are going to be. I think that they've released them, but it's not on Scryfall as of yet, as of last night when I looked. So I don't know, like, for example, what the Rhino is what his name is, because that's one of the cards that I'm at. One of the only cards actually to care about from the set. I don't think I'm going to end up spending money on it because there's only a couple cards that I would probably reasonably ever want. On Arena, at least. Let's tone these down a little bit. Maybe not that much. I think I need more of that blue trick on the side of his head. Because I got the front face relatively decently. But the side of his head, which is a large part of the profile of the model, didn't get it. Gonna bring out the shape of his head. Just hit it with another pass, it's fine. We're bringing it down immediately anyway. It's funny, I go to work, my hands are painted like this, and I'm that meme where the guy's like, they don't even know. And I'm a VTuber standing in the corner. I don't know, I'm probably close to being done. Like I always say, you could sit there for a million years just going back over parts that you've already done and redoing sections and fixing details, but at a certain point you need to call it or else you'll just go insane. The good enough principle, as it were. Well, it's probably good enough. Probably could have gone with the other red. The redder red, not the brown red. That I definitely want to get. We could lighten that up a bit. A smaller brush. This sound almost feels like Amazing Digital Circus, the ending credit section. Of the song, that is. Alright. We have entered the spiral. I'm just going to keep dabbing at it forever until I start to hate it again. The face could have been done better, I think, but it is what it is. I didn't come in here with a plan, so I'm going to live with our mistakes. Oh, maybe I should do the base a little bit. Do we have gray at all? Got brown. Why don't I have any more gray? I don't want to mix a gray. I don't want to use any of these colors. I would call it, but I've still got 12 minutes left before the end. Brown? Blue and then darken it to hell? You know, I probably should relearn how to play the sax one of these days. Everything is content. There's no bad attention. I just want to draw an asset of a saxophone before doing it so that the thumbnail would give off the correct impression. Now what are we going to do with this surrounding little scaly bit? Flesh and purple? Reading you loud and clear. So one of the first games that I ever played and beat was The Curse of Monkey Island, back when I was a wee lad. My dad had that game, and so I had to play whatever was in the house already. And in it, one of the first NPCs that you meet is a talking skull called Murray. And he becomes a little bit of a running gag. And since that game was a little bit formative, one time in high school, we went to Disneyland as a class. And back then, the merchandise that you could get was a little bit cooler. And what I got from Pirates of the Caribbean was a piggy bank that looks like and is approximately the shape of a human skull. And so I bought that skull because it was relatively cheap. It was like 30 bucks, maybe 40. And he was my best friend for the rest of that trip. We took him everywhere. We got him in a bunch of pictures on rides. And of course, I called him Murray the Skull because that joke made me giggle, and I'm the most important person. Unfortunately, as it turns out, the advanced math teacher that I had never met in my life was also named Murray, Mr. Murray. And so everybody, it seemed, that I hung out with, because I wasn't good at math, but I hung out with a lot of people that were good at math, you see. I would say, ah, yes, this is my skull, my friend, Murray. They're like, oh, like the math teacher? It's like, no. Who? What? But it seems like everybody that I introduced Murray to is like, haha, you named him after the math teacher. Why'd you name him after the math teacher? It's like, who's the math teacher? I believe that this is the math teacher that was considered the cool one because people used to hang out in his classroom at lunch. He was real hip with the kids and a little bit younger so he could communicate with us better. But right before the end of senior year, I know that one of the math teachers, and I don't remember who, got arrested for having some pictures on his PC. You know, some real PDF file pictures. And I don't know if it was the same guy, and I don't know what happened to him because I didn't have any of his classes. It was a math class. I didn't want to do math. But there was one teacher who just like vanished into the legal process, and it wasn't concluded by the time that I graduated, and so I stopped caring. But yeah, one of the math teachers got blackbagged essentially for being a piece of shit. What else? There was one of my other teachers disappeared magically. The English teacher in my senior year. It was over Christmas. I remember that. She went home for Christmas, and she went home to Europe / the Middle East. And so she went to, like, I don't remember which country in the Middle East. It was either Iraq or Iran. This was, years ago, so I can't remember. Post 9/11? Yeah. And so she just went home for the summer, or for the winter break, for Christmas break. And then we had a substitute the week that we came back. And that substitute was with us for the rest of the semester. And not a word was spoken about it by anybody officially. That teacher just fell off the face of the earth. She didn't do the typical English teacher thing where she got pregnant for the entire time. But yeah, that was pretty weird. I didn't understand why, because of course not knowing geopolitics or how women are treated in every country. I didn't understand why, just that our teacher vanished and we had a sub for the rest of the year. Which is funny, it's the reason that I've never actually read Mice and Men, was because that was the book that we were reading before she left. And then we never got around to finishing it. So the closest I've ever gotten to reading the Mice and Men, is watching the movie in preparation, because we didn't have anything else to do. And then our sub got to make up an entire senior English curriculum second half in the latter stages of the actual semester. We watched a lot of videos in the first section. Okay, this isn't coming together like I thought, but I don't hate how it's coming together, so we're just going to keep going.